Why do you feel like you're in a loop? You're in a constant loop, a constant cycle of despair. You can't break out of it. It feels like you're just stuck in a rut, right? This is what I was asking myself, right? About a week ago, I recorded this exact same video in this exact same spot. I recorded the same exact video that I'm about to show you right now. The same exact thing that I was trying to say. I rewatched it. It was fucking ass. The video, I was rambling. I was coughing because I was sick. Literally the day after that, I was the most sick I have ever been, probably in like the last 3 years. And it just dawned on me that I'm still stuck in my old mindset, at least when I was trying to record that video. I doubted myself so much. I made such a shitty piece of content that it literally affected me mentally, so much so that I got sick for the first time in years. And I was sick for all of last week. Terrible. Fucking awful. As sick as I've been since I've had fucking COVID. It was that bad. And now it just dawned on me the past couple of days when I'm like looking myself in the mirror and I'm wondering why I keep repeating the same day over and over again, like I'm in fucking Groundhog Day. I lost the fucking foundation. I built such a great foundation that was able to get me to where I was mentally and physically through routines and habits, all these things that I put together. I put the building blocks to build my foundation to where I can build upon it and build a great building, right? And once you stray away from that, like I stray away from my fucking routine, like I got sick or I went off my diet one day and everything just kind of snowballed. My diet fell, my health fell, my mental health fucking fell, and everything crumbled with it because I didn't stick to my foundational routines that allowed me to build to where I was. And that's the problem. That's something I would tell my younger self. Even a year ago, I would say this to myself. You need to build a foundation, whatever it is, with your routines, your habits, everything that's going to get you at a level state where you can rely on yourself. You can make promises to yourself so that you know no matter what happens, no matter the worst shit could go wrong for that day, but at least you know you did what you could. You did the bare minimum, the foundational effort. And that's something you can repeat on a day to day basis. And that gets you to baseline. And from there, you can build upon that every single day. What I mean by this is that what I have done in the past is analyze my days. I've been through this many times before with the cycles and the repeating and the ups and downs. That was my biggest things. I'd have great days, weeks, and then very low dips. I'd have highs and lows. You want to eliminate that and just make it a very level playing field for yourself so that you're not compromising your ability to fucking create the life you want, no matter what it is. You have these ups and downs and you're just fucking yourself over because you got to restart every time you hit rock bottom, just like me. Here's the thing. What I've done is I went through and I analyzed my days so that I made it into a science that it's undeniable that I can repeat my best days over and over again. You have to journal. This is the number one thing that's so fucking cliche that everyone says, "Oh, journal." It is the number one thing that I know of that can get you a psychedelic feeling without doing psychedelics, right? It forces you to reflect. And that's exactly what psychedelics do. Me personally, I've never done them, but I've talked to many people and they say this exact same thing. Journaling is just like doing psychedelics, just like doing mushrooms, because it makes you reflect. And that's something that a lot of people are afraid of. And I admit that I still am afraid to reflect, because a lot of the things that when you write down and you go back and look at your past, it really makes you look at yourself and ask yourself the hard questions. Like, what the fuck was I doing? You look at yourself from a third person perspective, right? Because you can lie to yourself all you want when you look yourself in the mirror. But when you write your shit down every single day and you go back and look at it, it can put that into a new perspective for you, and you can realize what the fuck you were doing on that day, right? And so this is what I did. I wrote down everything I was doing for like 3 months last summer. I was changing little things here and there, like what time I wake up, what time I break my fast, what I eat throughout the day, what time I train. Every little thing that you can think of, I was changing every single day, writing down the results in my journal. And what I came to after this experiment last summer, I formulated the exact perfect day for me personally to be the most productive. And that's going to get me to every single one of my goals, getting in the best shape physically, mentally, making the most money. And that's the foundation I'm talking about. You have to build a foundational routine in order for you to build upon that, right? Because once I had this routine built out, where I knew exactly what time I'm waking up, exactly when I'm breaking my fast, what I'm training, everything's scheduled and blocked off throughout the day so that I can check through it, make a checklist, right? Very organized. I was never someone to be super organized, especially in school. I was always the kid smushing fucking papers in my backpack, not having a folder, nothing. Most unorganized shit. That's why you need to fix your brain and kind of play the opposite. If you can micromanage your life on a daily basis like that, you can get anything done, right? Even the most daunting tasks, the way I would schedule things out so that I didn't overwhelm myself, because that's a big thing. I get overwhelmed so easily if I look at a big fucking to-do list. You don't make it big, all right? Every single day, you just make it 3 to 5 things, and you only focus on the first one at a time, one at a time. You make the first one super bold in your notebook, right? So you focus on that, and then once you check that off, you're done for the day. Now, that's good. You got your first task done, but everything else in your mind, subconsciously, you think that's just extra. That's just gravy on top. You got the most daunting thing out of the way, right? And so, besides that, what I'm trying to say is, when you can build the foundational layer of your building with dialing in your perfect day, you literally can build your ultimate dream life. You can build that dream building, that house, whatever it is that you're putting on top of that foundation is so much easier to build when it's not on fucking straight soil or a rocky terrain, right? You always have to have a foundation for a building. And that's what I was trying to allude to when I was saying that I lost that. I fell out of my routine. I fell out of my foundational habits. And that's what led me into the snowball effect of fucking sabotaging myself. I stopped. I fucking broke the promises I made to myself. That's the number one thing, is once you break the promises you make to yourself, you start doubting yourself, and then shit just goes downhill. I stopped waking up at the time I was supposed to. I started cheating on my diet. I was breaking my fast a little too early, and that led me to start eating shit I shouldn't be eating. I started slacking off in the gym. I started slacking off on my fucking business. And it brought me back to the mentality that I worked so hard to break free from this past year. Last year was all about reinventing myself and creating this new identity that I can be proud of, that I can relate to, that is the part of me, the version of me that deserves all the things that I want. And when you break the promises to yourself, that's not that ultimate version of you. The most ideal version of yourself is not breaking those silly promises. The most basic thing you could be doing is sticking to a morning and nightly routine and keeping your diet in check and your training in check. That's the most basic things that you can be doing. And when you break that, you just turn into 99% of people. The 99% of people don't hold themselves accountable for anything. The most normal people hold themselves accountable for is going to work on time. Most people don't have any discipline to do anything other than that. They show up just to get a steady paycheck. They can't even discipline themselves enough to take care of their fucking body. And that's what's just been on my mind. I just got out of the gym right now, and I just felt I had to redo this fucking video because last week I recorded this and it was basically the same premise, same things that I wanted to get off my chest. And the funny thing about that, I was speaking about the same exact thing and I jinxed it. I jinxed myself. I fell into the trap of not sticking to the foundation. And that's when I became the most sick I've ever been in a long time. And I couldn't even go to the gym. So that was a no brainer. I fell out of the gym. My diet was fucked. My sleep was fucked. Everything was fucked. I wasn't doing anything to enhance my life whatsoever. I was just fucking just laying in bed hoping to die. But that's because I was so sick. Hopefully YouTube doesn't flag that for that. But what I'm trying to say is, after I came to the realization, like I did the reflection, right? I went back into my journal. This is where it all stems from. The whole reflection thing is you need to record everything you're doing every single day. You need to be journaling your life every single day so you can reflect. That's the only way that you'll be able to improve. You need to be able to be honest with yourself, and most people can't be. I'm going to be honest. It's hard for me to be honest with myself too sometimes. That's why I write my thoughts and my feelings out every single day, the things that I accomplished, what I did wrong, what I did right, so I can go back. I have journal entries pretty much every day up until a year ago. And when I look back on those, it brings me back into that feeling. I look back at when I was winning and I'm like, holy shit, where the fuck did this fire go? I was a completely different person mentally in this point in my life. And that's when you can feed off of that. You can get back into that state. It's so easy to get back into a winning state, especially when you record it like that. And then if you look at the times where you were fucking losing, that's also good for reflection because you can look at that and you can see exactly what you did wrong and you fix that. You build your ideal fucking day. That's what you do. You build your ideal day, repeat it, and that's your foundation. After that, then you add in the tasks that are going to get you to where you want to go. And you break them down into little manageable blocks every single day. And the more you chip away at that, the closer you're going to get to that goal, and you're going to identify more with that version of yourself that you created in your head. And that's what I'm doing right now. I have to identify with the version of myself that keeps these fucking promises, the easiest promises that I'm breaking now. I have to keep those. And on top of that, I build on top of my foundation every single day. You have to be tired of living in a constant cycle, in a fucking looping Groundhog Day every single day. It's pretty scary that most people can go through their entire life living the same day over and over and over again, and they're content. But that is what separates the NPCs from the one percenters, right? If you even have these thoughts in your head to enhance your life in any way or be the best version of yourself and not be caught in this fucking societal rut where you're just kind of complacent and letting life, take you along and you go with the flow. if you can identify with that, you are different than most people. And when I realized that most people don't think like this, I realized you shouldn't be listening to most people. And that's where I got most of these ideas from, is from people that I wanted to be like. The number one thing that successful people do, people that are in shape, whatever you strive for, the number one thing that they do is self-reflection. That is the number one key to growth, to evolution. You need to constantly be evolving in this life. Because if you don't, you're going to get fucking stuck in this rut. And you're going to end up depressed and fucking suicidal. And it's not where you want to be. Right? So I just needed to get that out there. I just needed to get this off my chest because I realized that I'm a shell of who I was just a year ago, because I let all my circumstances dictate my internal actions, all the things that I should be doing. I let my external influence, I let the environment influence the things that I can control. I let the things I can't control dictate the things I can control. Meaning, everything that was going on in my life about a year ago, whether it was like my job, money, family problems, fucking constantly dealing with bullshit, changing jobs. Like I went through a bunch of different jobs last year, and it all affected me mentally to the point that I started breaking these little promises to myself. And the biggest thing for me was when I stopped being consistent in the gym. It really made me look at myself in the mirror, because I look at myself now and I'm like, how did I lose so much size and strength? That's the one thing that I'm so passionate about. Even when I was at my lowest and the bummiest I've ever been a few years back, the one thing that I could always count on, when I was playing fucking video games all the time and not doing shit with my to enhance my life, the one thing I could always be consistent on was the gym. And once I realized that was slipping, that that little thing that I liked doing, I was getting inconsistent on, I realized I fucked up. I let my external environment affect my internal. That's why it's so important to have a foundation, so that you can always rely on that no matter what. No matter if, God forbid, someone dies, I can't fall into a depression. I have to stick to my foundational routine every single day. That's the only thing that's going to get me out of any sort of spiral. That's that's the only thing that's going to save you. And with that obviously comes your ability to humble yourself before God. And that is a big thing that comes with my foundation, right? Is always being close to God every single day, praying, reading the Bible. And that's another thing that I let slip out of my discipline, out of my foundational routine. And having that in my routine has helped me tremendously, because I'm able to get back to that foundational state where I can actually trust myself, right? Even when my friends point out to me, like, bro, what are you doing? You fell off. Like, what the? You were not the same person you were a year ago. And I can reflect on that because I write down every single day in the journal. And I realized, yeah, I lost it. And that's why I have to get back to that foundational state, right? I'm only saying this now because this is just a revelation that I had, that I want to relay to anyone who's watching this video, that building your foundational state is exactly the hardest step, but it is the biggest step that you can take to embodying that new version of yourself. It's the hardest thing because no one likes to change. But that's what you got to do. Make little adjustments every single day, record it, and then build upon it. I'm back to my foundational state, consistent with the gym, no matter what, no matter how fucking late it is. Doesn't matter how much sleep I get. I'm still waking up. I'm still doing my routine, still going to work, still doing my fucking business, social media, and I'm training. Because if I want to be a good coach, right, a good fitness coach, I have to keep the promises to myself, because how is someone going to come to me and expect me to keep them accountable when I can't even keep myself accountable? And that's exactly what you have to do. The easiest way to stay disciplined, keep yourself accountable, is to write your shit down. That's all I'm going to say. Reflection, reflection, reflection. That is the biggest takeaway that I want you to have, is that you must constantly be reflecting. It's the only way to grow. Well, it's getting pretty fucking late. And I need to keep these promises to myself. So I want you, whoever's watching this video, even if it's just one fucking person watching this video, I want you to know that it's possible. It's possible to keep these promises to yourself. I want you to keep promises to yourself. Start with one little change every single day you're going to promise yourself. Whether it's, oh, one thing I can do tomorrow is wake up at this time. Exactly. Wake up on the first alarm. Don't hit snooze. Put your phone across the room. Right? And once you can consistently hit that, it's a little promise you make to yourself. Add it to your routine. It's part of your foundation now. Then you add upon that until you have a fully fledged morning routine. That's not wasting time, but it's effective at getting you into a certain mental state, a certain frequency, in order for you to do what you need to do. And then you build upon that. And eventually, it's second nature. It's still hard for me with the foundational routine, especially if you challenge yourself with waking up early. I've never been a morning person, so it's hard for me to wake up early. That's one thing that you want to conquer, is your weak points. Because if you want to be the best version of yourself, you have to overcome all your shortcomings. Obviously play into your strengths, but you got to evolve in a way that a butterfly does, right? They go into the cocoon and then they emerge new. All right, before I get into any more cliche analogies, I just want to leave you with, write your shit down in a journal, reflect, and keep the fucking promises you make to yourself. All right? God bless.